Acha, acha. I thought he's not trusting you, which is not good. So, okay. So morning, everyone. Today we get started with the topic of magnetic properties, and there are certain things. Before I get started, all of you will be aware this year there might be some reduction in syllabus, and some of the topics which are going to cover in next about month and a half, they are very likely to be dropped as well. So I would say at this stage, I would say they're slightly less important from exam perspective. So we'll go a little faster. So far, whatever pace we have been having, you'll find we'll go a little faster. And maybe some of the more numericals I will do in the work session. So all of you also need to gear up and go a little faster. And a reason also mentioned, okay, this is a reason why we can go a little faster, because when syllabus is announced, then perhaps we can plan our time better. So this one topic, the topic what we are going to cover today is, you know that Earth also has magnetic property. Even Earth also behaves like a big bar magnet. And you know, its Earth magnetic property can be seen in terms of behavior of compass and all. So before we understand Earth's magnetic property, it is more on understanding of a vector. So I'll go through some vector, and you know, if you understand vector in 3 dimension, there's absolutely nothing new in this topic, which is called terrestrial magnetism. It is also called Earth's magnetic property. Okay, so see, all we have done projectile in first year, and how can we define velocity of a projectile in 3-dimensional space? With respect to, so when we define direction, we have to use some references. Let's see, assume that which references we use in terms of direction. This common direction what we refer are this northeast vertical direction. These are direction. And let's imagine there's a cannon. You all seen a cannon now? Cannon is a big gun kind of thing. It's a cannon which fires a projectile speed u. What you can do, you can change the direction of cannon depending on where you want to hit. Suppose if a cannon is set, if all of you seen a fort kind of thing. So there's a fort. On the ramparts of the fort, we set up the cannon and it is set an angle delta downwards with the horizontal. Now, I hope this is clear. So if you have a cannon kind of thing, cannon has a barrel, and the barrel not horizontal, it is set an angle from horizontal downwards by angle delta. And it is aimed towards north. Because you have to define its direction, which direction it is pointing. So suppose the cannon, I point towards north and dip its angle by theta. How do you define? So as soon as I fire, how would I define this velocity vector u? See, this u, speed is u, but it will have particular direction. So in this case, how do I define u? I can define u as, if it is angle is delta, I can say, one way of saying, okay, velocity is lying in a vertical plane passing through north, and it is making an angle delta and u. So actually we have to, how many parameters I need to use to define u? I have to use 3 parameters. North direction, with the horizontal it is making delta angle, and it's a magnitude of vector u. Let's understand a little better. So if I fire the projectile, you all understand which plane the projectile move in. From a particular point, how many vertical planes are passing from any particular point on the earth? Kevin, how many vertical planes pass through any particular point? See, wherever you stand here, how many horizontal planes are there from a particular point? There's only one horizontal plane. But how many vertical planes are possible? Gayatri? What happened to this audio was working? Gayatri? Huh?
Yes, sir.
How many vertical planes are possible at a point? Not sure. Huh? Khyati, how many vertical planes are possible from a point? Disha, how many vertical planes are possible from a point?
Infinite.
Infinite. Is that difficult to answer, Khyati? Khyati, is easy. So in fact, there's infinite planes possible. And whenever a projectile moves, it always moves in a vertical plane. Is this clear? Projectile will always move in a vertical plane. It will always lie in a vertical plane. So if I fire towards north, Disha, can you tell me which plane this projectile will move in? Can we define this vertical plane the projectile will move in?
Like that.
No, it says north south, a plane passing through north south, is it not? So
Yes.
if I draw a vertical plane directed towards north, it will lie in that plane. That's vertical plane directed towards north. That's the vertical plane it will lie in. It's easy. How many vertical planes are possible on surface? Infinite planes are possible. Now let's okay, proceed further. Now what we do, we can change the direction of the barrel of the cannon. If the cannon is turned by an angle theta, 30 degrees towards east, without changing its angle with the horizontal. Can you all visualize, Kathy, do you visualize how would this cannon look like? What will which direction the barrel will point?
Yes, sir.
Now we are rotated by what? Now which vertical plane? This vertical plane is making, so okay, so this is something I rotate by 30 degree towards east. And so from vertical plane, if I have the cannon is a vertical plane, either I can rotate towards east or I can rotate towards west. There are two possible rotation possible in a vertical plane. So imagine a again it fires a projectile at speed u. Which plane the projectile will move in? Can we define the plane the projectile will move in? Tejas?
Sir?
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Which plane this projectile will move? It will move in a vertical plane. I am telling that one. So can you define which particular can we define this orientation of vertical plane?
Will it be in the east and the north plane, sir?
No. So basically, the vertical plane will make an angle of 30 degree with the vertical plane passing through north. Can I say that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can say.
Vertical plane will make a 30 degree angle towards east with respect to vertical plane towards north.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So which plane this will move in? Okay. So vertical plane theta is 30 degree towards east or the north, and u is in that vertical plane. So we should understand, if you understand these vertical planes, there's nothing left in the chapter. So how do we completely define this velocity? If I use these three parameters, what are three parameters I've used? I've used the magnitude of velocity, angle delta, and angle theta. Suppose I give you these parameters, can you, does it uniquely identify the velocity vector? All of you clear? Does it tell you what is the velocity vector? So if suppose you give this velocity, can you fire a projectile with this velocity vector? How would you fire a projectile with this velocity vector? Suppose you're given a gun. And the gun has a speed, okay, it fires at the speed of 100 meters per second. And suppose I give you angle delta, as I have given delta is equal to 30 and theta is given as 45. Can you fire a bullet using this with these parameters? Can you fire a bullet which will have this initial velocity? How would I fire a bullet with this velocity? Can we do so? Do we understand this point here? Do we understand what does this three terms mean? Akul, do you understand what these three terms mean? What I will do now to fire a bullet like this? Okay, this time let me tell you. One way of doing would be, what I will do here, I'll stand facing towards north. Okay, I keep the barrel horizontal. Then I rotate, which direction I rotate? I rotate by angle of 45 degree towards east. And so what happens today, initially pointing like this, then which direction I rotate? I rotate by angle of 45 degree towards east. My gun will start pointing like this. And then after rotating that, in that vertical plane, I will bend it downwards by angle of 30 degree. That will be the orientation of barrel of the gun or cannon. Is this understood? What does these three terms mean? Advay?
Yes, sir.
Is this clear what the three terms I'm talking about? And so see, in sum, to define any vector in 3 dimension, how many parameters I need? I cannot define with less than 3 parameters. 3 parameters are needed to define any vector in 3 dimension. In first year, whatever projectile motion we had done, we didn't define which vertical plane it is moving in. So u and theta were the terms we used to define in 2-dimensional plane. If you understand this term, so 3 terms are needed. So if above parameters are given, suppose this parameter is given something like this. From this parameter, can we find out initial horizontal component of velocity? What will be the horizontal component of velocity? And this is, I'm talking about simple vector application, nothing, absolutely nothing new. Dhanshri, can you tell me if these are the parameters given, what will be the horizontal component of velocity? Dhanshri?
So u sin theta?
It will be a horizontal component u sin theta or u cos theta. First of all, theta is angle with respect to what?
It's with respect to the
Theta, just again, let's see that one. Theta is the angle with respect to east. With horizontal, what is the angle? With horizontal, it makes a
It's
delta
delta.
downwards. So this is something. So if I look at what will be the horizontal component of velocity, I need to look at what angle it makes with the horizontal direction. With the horizontal direction, it makes an angle delta. It will be equal to u cos delta. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
And this is will be horizontal component. Similarly, can we calculate vertical component of velocity also? It will be u sin delta.
Yes, sir.
This will be horizontal component, vertical component, and we understand this how it is. So if so any vector in three-dimensional space, how many parameters we need to define it? We need 3 parameters, and we can choose 3 different parameters. Why I'm discussing all this thing? In this case, we could have also chosen, rather than using u, I could have chosen UH, theta, the delta and theta. What does UH indicate? Rather than giving magnitude of velocity, I could have also used a horizontal component of velocity, angle delta and angle theta. Will it completely define initial vector? Even this also defines. Giving this also Okay, can you all hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so basically, so we are at this point here, and with trips for 10 seconds, it takes so much of time. Okay, so okay, so Earth magnetic field also is a vector in space, so we need three independent parameters to completely define it. And one of these parameters, this is three parameters we use. One of the parameters is magnitude. Other two define is orientation. This one is defined as orientation with respect to horizontal, and this one defines orientation with respect to the vertical plane passing through north. So I hope, are you following so far? What did I say just now? Anirudh, can you repeat what I said? What are the three terms defined here?
Delta is orientation with respect to vertical and theta is orientation with respect to horizontal.
No, see, delta is angle of dip. So delta is with reference to horizontal. Theta is with reference to vertical plane. You understand vertical plane? With reference to which vertical plane? Towards north. What is the angle it is making with reference to north? If I write theta is 30 degree east, it means it is a vertical plane which is obtained by if I have a vertical plane directed towards north. If I rotate towards east by 30 degree, that will be vertical plane. Out of three parameters, one is magnitude. It's the magnitude of horizontal component. Delta gives us angle of dip. If I say 30 degree, it means vector is making 30 degree with reference to horizontal, and theta. So if we represent, okay, so these are three terms we use. BH is the horizontal component. Let's define what is delta here. Downward angle made by the field with respect to horizontal. And why we take downward as positive? In northern hemisphere, everywhere magnetic field points downwards. It is not horizontal. It is pointing in the downward direction. And since most countries lying in northern hemisphere, we can take its delta as convention is, that's we call it angle of dip. And okay, and if you look at Earth's magnetic field, this is something, see, Earth's magnetic field, I think some of you may know already. The Earth can be treated like a big bar magnet. And how will the field lines for bar magnet? If this is north, this is south, field lines will be like this. Field lines will go like this. It will form a closed loop. And these are kind of things that they're making. So somebody who is here, how would the field line be? What is the direction of field here? This is the direction of field. Anywhere tangent. And so first thing what you notice, which side the North Pole, and you know, North Pole is here, and here field lines are going like this. Why the field lines here in the opposite direction? Here the North Pole is downwards, here field lines are up. Why the field lines in the opposite direction? Because if you look at this plane is called like an equatorial plane. In equatorial plane for a dipole, the direction of field is opposite to direction of dipole. Okay, so that's why, so though the North Pole lies in the southern hemisphere of Earth, the field on the surface of Earth in the opposite sense. So that's why we call this north. So orientation of bar magnet is actually opposite. So if we keep a magnetic needle here, the needle will make it will be pointing in the downward direction, tangential. And what will be the direction of magnetic needle here? Magnetic needle will be again, and if you come at this point, what is this point? This point is called magnetic north, because if you draw an axis of bar magnet, it will cut the surface of a sphere at 2 points. The axis of bar magnet will cut the surface of Earth at 2 points. And this point is called magnetic North Pole. And this point is called magnetic South Pole. And magnetic North Pole actually does not coincide with what he calls as geographic North Pole. What is geographic North Pole? If I draw an axis of rotation, axis about which Earth rotates, the point where axis cuts the surface of Earth, and this is the one point is called geographic north, and this point is called geographic south. So there are two axes here. One is axis of rotation. Corresponding to that, we have geographic north and geographic south. And then second, we have axis of bar magnet, which is not aligned with this. There is certain angle between the two, something like 11 degree or something. Okay, so let's understand that part. So what is delta here? On equator, this value of dip will be 0, because here field lines will be almost tangential to the surface. As we keep going more and more towards northern part, angle of dip will keep on increasing. And on magnetic North Pole, since the direction of field, see, the compass points in the direction of magnetic field. We know that part. Okay, it aligns itself with the magnetic field. Here it will become vertical. Angle of dip here is 90 degrees. So that is angle of dip understanding. BH indicates horizontal direction. Delta indicates downward angle made by the field with respect to horizontal. And what is theta here? Angle made by the vertical plane containing magnetic field vector. I'll come to that again. So this is called magnetic meridian, and other one is called geographic meridian. So next figure we'll try to understand what is magnetic meridian. Geographic meridian is easy to define. What is geographic meridian? We are talking about vertical planes. How many vertical planes possible? Infinite vertical plane. The vertical plane which contains north direction, or vertical plane directed towards north and south, is called geographic meridian. Okay. So geographic meridian at a place is a vertical plane directed towards geographic north, or a vertical plane containing geographic north. So if I stand any place here, so if I draw a vertical plane, which plane is passing through geographic north or passing through the point which is geographic north on the surface of Earth, this becomes my magnetic meridian. Okay, sorry, geographic meridian. What is geographic meridian? Vertical plane containing geographic north. That's why it's called geographic meridian. Both the meridians are vertical plane. What is magnetic meridian at a place? Let's try and understand magnetic meridian. Suppose I suspend a bar magnet freely. A bar magnet or needle, if it is suspended freely, it will tend to align in the direction of magnetic field at that point. And you can think of magnetic field something like an arrow, or you can think of magnetic field as a barrel of your cannon. So if this is red color, if this is, suppose this is how the magnetic field is there at a particular place here. Okay, so this magnetic field here. So at this point, what is the vertical plane containing magnetic field? If I call this point as O, let me call as P, and this point as A, and this point as B and C, and this point is D. So can we define which one is geographic? And this point C is nothing but north, geographic north. And this point I call as a magnetic north. So which one is, see, to define a plane, I need 3 points. So which 3 points are there in a geographic meridian? Which vertical plane? COD. That's a geographic meridian. And what is magnetic meridian? Let's understand. Vertical plane and magnetic north, or vertical plane containing the magnetic north. Or so which plane will be that be? This is the plane. So if I draw this plane is this vertical plane. So if you have a book, whether you hold the book vertical, you keep this book pointed towards north. If you rotate other cover of the book by a certain angle, it will keep moving in a different vertical plane. And what is this angle here from here to here? What is this angle called? Angle between. This plane is called, again to repeat, 2 vertical planes here. We are concerned about 2 vertical planes. I hope you have understood what vertical plane is. One vertical plane containing geographic north, other vertical plane contains magnetic north. Yes, Vignesh.
Sir, I didn't understand what magnetic north is, sir.
Magnetic north is, okay. See, magnetic north. You understood axis?
Yes, sir.
Axis of bar magnet?
Yes, sir.
So imagine there's a bar magnet here. Axis is a line.
Yes, sir.
It will cut the surface of what's like a spherical surface. Any line passing through center, the bar magnet lies in the center. How many points this axis will cut the surface of Earth?
2 points.
2 points. One in the northern hemisphere, other in the southern hemisphere. The point where it cuts in the northern hemisphere is called magnetic north. And the point where it cuts in the southern hemisphere is called magnetic south.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that part is something, but I think this is more confusing. Let's understand. This is one way to understand. Second thing, have you understood vertical plane? There are infinite number of vertical planes possible.
Yes, sir.
All can visualize what is the vertical plane directed towards north. Can you visualize a vertical plane directed towards north?
Yes, sir.
You can visualize, all of you can visualize a vertical plane directed towards east, directed towards north. Visualize a vertical plane. So if this I understood, and the vertical plane, so if I can see the geographic north from here, we can't see that, but imagine if we can see, if I look towards magnetic north, if I'm facing, sorry, if I'm looking at geographic north, if I draw a plane which passes through which point? this point here. That becomes okay. I think visualizing spherical surface becomes difficult, but I think this one is a lot easier. I think all of can understand what is geographic north. All of you understand? Anybody who doesn't follow what is vertical plane containing north? Vertical plane containing north. Disha, are you clear what is vertical plane containing north?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And now as second point now. Then suppose I suspend a bar magnet. Bar magnet, it will come to a rest in a random direction, and the direction of bar magnet will be same as direction of magnetic field. Is this clear? So whenever it comes to a rest, it is something you can imagine as a barrel of your cannon. Will there be vertical plane passing through this barrel of the cannon, or will there be vertical plane passing through this arrow? Bhageshri, can you visualize a vertical plane? So if a randomly, can you visualize a vertical plane passing through this line here?
Yes, sir.
So which vertical plane? So if I have this figure, so do you understand here the shaded lines I have drawn? That's a vertical plane containing,
Yeah,
what
arrow.
it is containing? It is containing
Arrow.
arrow. Now, what does this arrow indicate? Arrow indicates Earth's magnetic field. So this is a vertical plane containing what? Containing Earth's magnetic field. Containing, and if it containing Earth's magnetic field, it will also contain Earth's magnetic north. If you don't understand also, it is a plane containing magnetic needle also, we can understand. Now, so there's two things now. Now, in this case, let's look at this. Which are the three parameters we use to define? So this is a vector here. And what would OA indicate? What does length OP indicates here? Tejas, what does length OP indicates?
The magnitude of
Magnitude of Earth's magnetic field.
Yes, sir.
What would OA indicate?
OA is the horizontal component of
Component of Earth's magnetic field.
magnetic.
Yeah, so this is something we understand. This OP will indicate Earth's magnetic field. OA will indicate BH. And what would angle COA indicate? What will angle COA, this angle? Now, this is angle between two vertical planes. What is this angle called? This angle is called angle of declination. This is the angle made between two vertical planes. Which two vertical planes? Geographic meridian and magnetic meridian. Are you following so far? Anvita, are you following directions?
Yes, sir.
Kathy?
Yes, sir.
So if you can visualize this figure, I think this particular topic is over. Kathy, are you able to visualize what does OP indicate?
Yes, sir.
What does length OP indicate? Not yes, sir. Tell me what does it indicate?
Sir, that is the
That is what?
um,
Magnitude of Earth's magnetic field. What does OP indicate? Now see, is orientation of length OP indicates its magnitude, and orientation of arrow OP indicates direction of magnetic field. Kathy, what did I say? What does length OP indicates?
length of the
Length OP indicates what?
so that is the,
Magnitude. Length OP indicates magnitude of magnetic field, and its orientation indicates orientation of magnetic field in space. Yes, Vignesh, any question?
Yes, sir. So like magnetic north is not like fixed, right, sir?
The magnetic north is a point on Earth's surface. Is that point or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So will it have, see, okay, forget about magnetic north. Well, do you understand that needle will come to a rest in a particular orientation?
Yes, sir. In the direction of the field at that point.
In direction of field. So if is it possible to draw a vertical plane containing the orientation of the needle?
Yes, sir. That I understood, sir.
That you understood. And just understand that that will contain magnetic north. It's difficult to visualize
Yes,
in case of a surface of Earth, because surface becomes curved and then we can confused. And that's why people
Yes,
have a lot of problem understanding this topic. And so are we keeping simple? So are we following this figure here? So there are two
Yes,
angles here. What is the angle? One angle is between two vertical planes. What is that angle called? Shravani, what is this angle called? Angle of declination. Shravani, can you tell me what is angle of declination means? Angle of declination. What is angle of declination? Bhagishri, can you tell me what is angle of declination? Which two planes it is? Is angle between which two planes?
Geographic north and the magnetic north, sir.
No, it is better to say it is angle between two planes. You know, what are the planes? Words we use for two planes? We use geographic meridian and magnetic meridian. So there are two vertical planes, and that angle is called. This angle is called. There's a definition. This angle is called angle of declination. We'll see why it is useful. And second thing, see this also, this needle will make certain angle with the horizontal. And this angle is called theta, and this angle is angle of dip. This is called delta. So one is angle of declination, other is angle of dip. Are you understanding angle of dip? Angle of declination is between which two vertical? Angle of declination is between vertical plane. Angle of dip is an angle made with the horizontal. Because horizontal direction, there is only one plane. Vertical only, there are multiple planes possible. So magnetic meridian, then what is magnetic field? When freely suspended, it will align itself with magnetic field at that space, which is red arrow. So if it is free to rotate, what will happen? Make an angle. Okay, sorry, I have written not that, this theta. Okay, so this is the angle. So suppose you have seen a compass. All of you have seen this compass. Suppose I keep this compass on the table. Now it comes and aligns itself in a particular direction. And which direction this compass will point to? Compass will point to magnetic north or vertical plane containing this orientation of compass. What will the vertical plane containing the compass now? Can you name this vertical plane? What will the vertical plane containing this compass orientation?
Magnetic meridian.
This will call magnetic meridian. And this magnetic meridian will make certain angle with geographic meridian. And this angle is called, just remember the wording, don't worry about notation. This angle is called angle of declination. So how do you find declination? If I have a compass, if I make it is left free to rotate about vertical axis, and this angle will give angle of declination. Similar way, can you also imagine you can make a compass freely rotate about a horizontal axis? Can you think of horizontal axis? And again, it will align, and this angle it make with the horizontal, this angle is called angle of dip. So this is a geographic meridian, magnetic meridian, angle of declination, and angle of dip. These three things are we understood so far? Shreya?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, clear about this?
Yes, sir.
And repeat 3 times in the mind. When the what are things? Angle of declination, angle between two vertical planes. Which two vertical planes? Geographic north and magnetic north. So if we have a magnetic needle, if we freely suspend magnetic needle, it will come to a rest in a plane which is called magnetic meridian. And similarly, if a compass is free to rotate about a vertical axis, if I keep the compass on a horizontal table, it will align itself, it will lie in a vertical plane called magnetic meridian. It will make an angle called angle of declination. This angle of declination, notations can be different. No, notation, we don't worry, let's understand declination. And similar way, you can imagine, say this something, if I take the compass and keep the compass on the wall. Where I keep the compass? I keep the compass on the wall, but this wall should be on what direction? The wall should be in the magnetic meridian. If the wall is in the magnetic meridian, if I keep the compass, all can visualize the compass rather than kept on a horizontal table, it is kept on a wall. If it is kept on a wall, you just imagine it will rotate about a horizontal axis. But which vertical plane the wall must lie? This wall must lie in a vertical plane. Because vertical plane, you have to define vertical plane. It has to lie in which vertical plane? Magnetic meridian. If I keep in that plane, it will make an angle with the vertical, and this angle is called angle of dip. So this angle, all we are doing, we are defining the orientation of a vector in horizontal plane as well as vertical plane. What are we doing here? And for defining direction in horizontal plane, for defining this horizontal orientation, we are using two vertical planes. One is geographic meridian, another is magnetic meridian. Okay, so let's understand if declination is place is 30 degree east. Okay, so I kept here, if the declination is 30 degree east, if I keep this compass there, what will happen? It will, from compared to true north, it will turn towards east by angle of 30 degree. So conversely, whether do you know at a place when you stand, can you find out where the true north is? We can't find out where true north is. Where is geographic north? What we can do, we can find out where is the magnetic north. How do we find magnetic north? With the help of needle. But if I know the declination and their place is 30 degree east, then using my compass, I can find out direction of true north. Using the compass, if declination is known, I can find out direction of true north, which is called geographic north. Can we do so? Shreya, can you tell me how do you find out? So at a particular place, how do I find out where is the direction of true north? Or true north means geographic north. Shreya, can you tell me how do you find out?
When declination is given, we know the angle between magnetic meridian and geometric.
Very good. So this is something. So if a declination at the place, so that's why you need a map. Every place on Earth, there's something called magnetic map. It shows what is the declination at a place. So if declination at a place is known, if I have compass, have you seen this movie? How many have seen this movie, Pirates of the Caribbean? And Captain Sparrow and all, you have seen he will use a compass. So why do you all the people who used to go and travel on a ship used to use a compass? Can someone think of what is the use of a compass now? Can someone explain how is compass useful when you're traveling in the sea with a ship? Can someone think of a reason? See, suppose you're lost in a place. I mean, you know there's a city towards north. If you're standing in the jungle, how do you find out which place is north? What do you need to find out north? And even if you have a compass also, compass doesn't find a point towards north all the time. Compass doesn't point towards true north. It points towards magnetic north. But if that place, if I know the declination with reference to compass, I can correct my direction and find out direction of true north. Is this understood? So so far we are talking about two directions. But we are defining a vector in space using two angles and one magnitude. Which magnitude we use? We use the horizontal component of magnetic field, and two direction. One is with reference to vertical plane containing true north, and second is with reference to horizontal plane. If we repeat, understand 3-4 points, this subtopic is done. Okay, let's proceed further. If the declination at a place is known, direction of north can be found using compass. So if declination is 30 degree east, compared to direction of compass, it will lie 30 degree on the westwards of the direction pointed by compass. Okay. Now we have seen, and this is something I was talking about, how do I make a compass rotate in a vertical plane? You notice here, this equipment here, there's a magnetic needle here, which is kept in a horizontal plane. Magnetic needle moves in the horizontal plane means its axis of rotation is vertical. Here, if the disc lies in the vertical plane, axis of rotation is horizontal. All you understand here? It's free to rotate about horizontal axis. It will align itself at an angle equal to angle of dip if placed in magnetic meridian. What is necessary for it? It has to be placed in magnetic meridian. Let's understand why it has to be placed in magnetic meridian. See, which direction, so any particular place, if I look at any particular place, it will have horizontal component, and let's say the earth field has a vertical component. Let me draw it separately here. So at this point, so it is rotate, there's horizontal component. So at this point here, there's some horizontal component BH, and this vertical component BB. If two components are known, can we find resultant here? It's easy. I think you know how to find resultant. So we can find the resultant, and resultant makes an angle called angle of dip. So this is angle of dip. I will use the term dip only. And what will this angle of dip will be? Tangent of dip will be equal to how much? Or I can use tangent of, if I use delta, what the tangent of dip will be equal to? BV by BH, right? This will be BV by BH. So that's the angle it will make here. So tangent of delta will be BV by BH. Okay. But let's look at this. But this is something what I said, it must lie. See, this compass can be horizontal plane, there's only unique horizontal plane. But this vertical plane, it can be, compass can be kept in several vertical planes. You understand here? It can be kept in several vertical planes. What is said, it should be placed in vertical plane, which is magnetic meridian. Let's try and understand why. Just try and understand, see, if I look from the top, if I view from the top, where I'm looking from, I'm looking from the top. If I look from the top, let's see, this direction is east and this direction is north. And this is direction, what does BH indicates here? Horizontal component of magnetic field. Okay. So if I place this compass, vertical compass, if I place in this plane, how it is placed? It is placed in this plane. On the needle, what are the components acting? One component BH is acting like this, and vertical component is acting downwards. Okay, because this is a horizontal component. But just think of it, if I place not here, if I place the this compass, if I rotate from here, it can rotate about a vertical axis. So this vertical compass I have rotated by angle alpha. If I rotate by angle alpha, will the horizontal component of Earth field remain same or will it change? This is BH. So as you know here, see, suppose you fire a projectile in northeast direction. Velocity will have some component along north direction, velocity will have some component on east direction. It will have different components. Similar way, this is BH here, this is a horizontal component. If I place this vertical compass at an angle alpha, with reference to which vertical plane this is, this vertical plane is magnetic meridian. If I place in a vertical plane which makes angle alpha with the magnetic meridian, the horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field will change. It will not be BH, it will be BH dash. How much will be BH dash? Can we calculate BH dash? How much will be the horizontal component in this vertical plane here? So if it is placed in a vertical plane making an angle alpha with the magnetic meridian, vertical component will not change, or component will remain same, horizontal component will change. How much BH dash will be? If this angle is alpha here, is easy to calculate. Horizontal component becomes BH cos alpha. If BH cos alpha, the dip angle also will change, because dip angle becomes a ratio vertical component divided by horizontal component. So dip angle becomes BB by BH into cos alpha, which is tangent of dip, true value of dip into sec alpha. So this becomes apparent dip. So we get true value of dip only when compass is placed in a magnetic meridian. Okay. Let's take this case here. So just take an example. Let's try and understand this example. Let's say the three elements of, we also use the word, what are the three elements of Earth's magnetic field? What are three elements given? BH is given as 0.6 G. 0.6 G is a Gauss, which is a unit which commonly used. One Gauss is equal to 10 to the power minus 4 Tesla. Okay, I think it's good to remember this. And angle of declination is 30 degree. Angle of dip is 45 degree. So do we understand? So if what does this imply? Can we understand these terms in terms of the figure here? Do we understand this in terms of figure? So again, if I write this something like, call this, let me call this O, and this point is called M, and this point let me call as G, and this point is called as B. Okay. So can you see what does BH indicates here? What does BH indicates here?
Horizontal component.
And the BH and the horizontal component. The horizontal component is how much? This OM is equal to BH. Understand here. What is the length? OM indicates BH. What is, and this angle delta, let me call this one, I think, this angle of declination, angle of dip. So what would dip and this angle of declination? Because this notation might change. So let me define that term. So what is, where is this theta here? Can I mark theta here? This is my declination. So this will be 45 degree. And this angle of dip is 30 degree. So from here it is 30 degree. So just can we relate this question to a kind of cannon? So how do I get this? It is equivalent to, let me keep a cannon towards north. From north, I rotate the cannon by 45 degree towards east. After rotating by 45 degree, I lower it by 30 degree. This orientation I get. That's the kind of orientation of this magnetic field. And you remember this one. So if 3 elements are given, can we find value of OB? Can we find OB? What is the magnitude of Earth's magnetic field at that place? We can easily find. It's a vector property. What will length OB be equal to? Okay, so let's do one by one here. What will be the dip measured in geographic meridian? The dip measured in geographic meridian will be 30 degrees, not a problem. Question comes, what will the dip measured in a vertical plane passing through east? Can we find what will be the dip measured in a vertical plane passing through east? One way is, I think many of you have not want to trouble too much, you can think of this. We have done. So it is something like this. To find east, I need to find this term is how much is this equal to? What is OM equal to? How much is OM equal to? Can you find OM here? OM is equal to 0.6. OM is equal to 0.6. So to find which vertical plane now, we want to find dip in a vertical plane passing through east. What will be the horizontal component of field in that vertical plane? What will be BH dash? Can someone tell me what will be BH dash? BH dash will be this. This will be the horizontal component in this vertical plane passing through east. Are you able to visualize this vertical plane containing east? In this vertical, what will the component of horizontal? What will the component of BH here? Component of BH will be equal to BH into cos of 45. Hence, what will be the apparent angle of dip? Tangent of delta dash. Dip is equal to vertical component by horizontal component. When this is dip is nothing but vector property. So this is something, there are two components here, and one is horizontal component, other is vertical component. If it is we write BH if it is in magnetic meridian. If we write BH dash if it is not magnetic meridian. So what is the angle of dip? The theta is equal to tan theta is equal to BB BH. You don't have to remember the formula, but we don't know what is BB here. If I write this point as some point n. What is vertical component? From here, can we find out vertical component here? Yes, we can find out vertical component. So tangent of dip, tangent of 30 degree is equal to BV by BH. So from here I can find BV. BV will equal to 0.6 divided by root 3. And so at tangent delta dash, I can substitute BV by BH dash. I can substitute what is BB equal to 0.6. Either I can use this or I can use formula BB by root 3. BH dash will be equal to 0.6 into 1 by root 2. So this will become equal to root 2 into root 3 or root 6. So what will happen? And yes, it will keep on increasing. Are you following this, people? Okay, how many followed so far? Just raise your hand. So far you followed?
Won't it be root 2 by root 3?
1 minute, I come to that part. Okay, sir.
I have a quick question.
Pardon me?
I have a question, sir.
Yeah.
So why did we take BH dash, sir? Why can't we just take BH?
No, see, tell me, when we talk about, see, if we just, let's look at this. Let's understand the wording. What is the dip measured in which vertical plane? Passing through east. Can you mark in this figure which is the vertical plane passing through east? Is it not easy? This is the plane.
Yes, sir.
In this plane, this horizontal component is in this which plane? It is in magnetic meridian, not in this vertical plane. What I need to do is take its component.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so we have to take component in whichever vertical plane we are calculating dip. Yes, Avirup, you had some question?
So won't it be root 2 by root 3?
Sorry, root 2 by root 3, what I'm that? Yes, root 2 by root 3. So what will happen? Any plane, will it increase or decrease? It will keep on increasing. Okay, so this is something, so every time, the first thing, Avirup, so what have you understood? When we talk about Earth's magnetism, what is first thing you should come to your mind? What is Earth's magnetism?
There are two vertical planes, geographic.
We are just defining a vector in 3D space with the help of one magnitude and two directions. Does it make sense?
Yes, sir.
And Earth's magnetic field is a vector quantity. So we have to use three parameters. Which parameter we use? We use one magnitude and two directions. Let's try to understand which magnitude we use. We use horizontal component, and two directions we define, one as horizontal direction, one as vertical direction. To define horizontal direction, I have to define a reference vertical plane. What is the reference vertical plane we use? We use a reference vertical plane which is passing through true north. We call it geographic meridian. So with its orientation is vertical plane, we call it a declination, which could be towards east or which could be towards west. In case of dip, is angle made by the angle made with reference to the horizontal plane. Downwards is taken as a dip. Why do we take downwards? In northern hemisphere, the direction of magnetic field is downwards. Yes, Vignesh, you had some question.
Sir, if we place the magnet like in the compass in the vertical plane and it's free to rotate about any direction, like horizontal or vertical, then it will pass through the original direction.
Yes,
only,
then
right,
see if it is passed through, it is like a freely suspending. See, if just come to that question, it's a good question. I like that one. See what you are saying now. If this compass is free to rotate about the vertical axis also, that's what I'm saying.
Yes,
if it is free to rotate about vertical axis, it is equivalent to a magnetic needle freely suspended. It's not constrained. So magnetic needle is freely suspended. How does it come to a rest?
magnetic north.
You understand this figure? Just understanding a vector is like understanding direction of arrow. What is the arrow? Arrow, you can think of a magnetic needle with a particular length. So direction is same as direction of magnetic needle, but length of the arrow depends on the magnitude. If you understand that part, it's a vector quantity. If you just think of the vector quantity and solve it, it's easy. Okay, I hope this part also is clear why we're taking dip like this. Okay, what dip is measuring geographic meridian and what dip passing through east. Okay. Now you can also take a case. What we can calculate, this is also given as a common formula in many books. What is apparent dip in two mutually perpendicular planes? And one is making angle alpha with the magnetic meridian. So from magnetic meridian, let's say this is a magnetic meridian. So one of the plane is making an angle. It may not be true north. One is making angle alpha from here, and other plane is perpendicular to this. So this will make. Other will make, and from magnetic meridian, other vertical plane will make angle of 90 minus alpha. So we will get a true value of dip only in this plane. Here also, any other vertical plane, it will be apparent dip. This also will be apparent dip. Why it is apparent dip? Because vertical component of horizontal field is not changing, but horizontal component is changing. What is the horizontal component here? Horizontal component becomes equal to B cos alpha. And what will the horizontal component in this vertical plane? It will become B cos 90 minus alpha. So in this case, apparent dip will become equal to BV divided by BH cos alpha, which can be written as tangent of delta into sec alpha. In other plane, it can be written as BV divided by BH cos 90 minus alpha will become cosec alpha. And if I simplify these two, I'm not simplifying, it's easy to simplify. This is a term we get here. We simplify, we take cos alpha and sin alpha, cos square alpha plus sin square is equal to 1. We get this relationship. So this also is a, you don't have to memorize this formula, very easily you can arrive at if you understand this figure. So, okay, let me check with some others. Brinda? Brinda? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Brinda, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Have you understood the directions? Okay, so Brinda, if I ask you, what are the points we should, what are the key points we should understand and try to remember related to this small topic? Can you tell me, Brinda, what has gone on? Can you summarize some of the things? Disha, can you summarize what has gone into your head, or what should go into your head?
Yes, so like first we talk about geographic meridian and magnetic meridian.
Even before that also, how should we think? See, before I want to recall the topic of Earth's magnetism. What is the first thing I should think of? What are why we are studying this particular subtopic? Is there anything special? No. So what is the first thing, even before that also? What should come to our mind first? Abhiru?
We define the vector in the direction of
So basically the whole topic is to define a vector in 3D space. Then we think of to define a vector in 3D space. Just remember, in case of projectile, you use something like u theta. But that was in one particular. Now we here for 3-dimensional space, we need 3 parameters. What are 3 parameters we use here, Abhiru?
It's a plane.
One is here, even better, we can think of out of 3 parameters, one is magnitude, 2 are orientations. Make sense? Now, which magnitude we take? Not the magnitude of vector, because most cases we are concerned with horizontal component. We take horizontal component BH, and we take 2 angles. One is horizontal angle, one is vertical angle. To measure horizontal angle, I need 2 vertical planes. So I need a reference plane, reference vertical plane. Which is a reference vertical plane we use? We use a reference ray, the reference vertical plane, which is called geographic meridian. Just imaginary plane passing through true north. So, what is angle of declination? So define angle. We use the 2 names to define those angles are declination and dip. Declination is the angle used to define horizontal angle. Dip is defined to define the vertical angle. And declination is with reference to geographic meridian, and dip is with reference to horizontal plane. And then we take, okay, then other thing we have to, last thing what we understood, what is apparent dip. If the plane is not in magnetic meridian, the horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field will not be equal to BH. It will be equal to BH into cos alpha, just like taking components. So you get an apparent dip. So that's all there in case of Earth's magnetic properties. And okay, there are some applications of it. I think mostly the question comes based on application of it to find its component. And so all are, so far, are we okay with this? Gayatri? Gayatri?
Yes, sir.
Are you clear?
Yes, sir.
What are things, can you summarize in your mind what you have done? And you should do so in the afternoon session. If I ask, well, you should be able to tell, all of you should be able to tell this basic points. This basic point. What is the angle of dip? Also should be easy to understand. Angle of dip is angle with reference to horizontal, which should be equal to vertical component divided by horizontal component. But that is simple vector property. So angular dip also is BV by BH. And if BH changes, if the vertical plane is not magnetic meridian, we have to take the component. That's all we need to do in this subtopic, Earth's magnetism. And okay, now come to one more point here. Suppose I have this magnetic needle is like a compass. If it is free to rotate, which it tends to align itself with the direction of magnetic field in this particular plane. It tends to align itself in BH. And let's say this magnetic needle it will have some magnetic dipole moment. I hope you recall what is magnetic dipole moment. Bhagishri, what is magnetic dipole moment?
Product of
what is magnetic?
Sir, am I audible?
Yes. What is magnetic dipole moment? Forgot. Okay. What is magnetic dipole moment? Halad? What is magnetic dipole moment? What are things I should remember about magnetic dipole moment? Don't remember properly? Okay. Vignesh, what should you know about magnetic dipole moment?
Yes, sir. Any current carrying loop behaves as a magnetic dipole moment.
Starting point. The first thing is
yes,
magnetic dipole moment is equal to current into area. I can write NIA if number
yes,
of loops. That's
and it's a vector quantity.
It's a vector quantity.
We can determine the direction using right-hand thumb rule.
Right-hand thumb rule. First point. What else we need to know? There are 5 points I mentioned. Every time I keep repeating, and something I think this is disappointing that people are not able to recall. What are other 5 points I should remember about dipole?
Yes, so the direction of the field on the axis of the dipole is in the direction
field
of
on
the
the
dipole.
axis. So it creates a field on the axis. Field on the axis is a constant into 2m by x cube. Field on the equatorial axis. Then what are other points I should know about dipole? The field on the axis of dipole is mu naught by 4 pi into 2m by x cube. And on the equatorial axis, it is equal to mu naught by 4 pi into m by y cube, something like that. And it is in the opposite direction. What are other points you should know about
the
dipole?
potential energy and the torque. Torque is m cross b.
So torque
potential
is
energy
m
minus
cross
m dot b.
Potential energy is minus m dot. Bhagishri? Bhagishri?
Yes, sir.
Why are you not able to answer these 5 points properly? Is it difficult? Huh? And should we not remember it? Is that difficult? Is it possible, or should we remember this at all points of time or not?
Sir, we should remember.
No, we should remember. And it only, see, this is something, whether we remember or not, it depends only on our method of study, our discipline. It's not too difficult. I repeated a number of times, and it should go into your more or less permanent memory. And so once we have this one, so see, now coming to this. Now, if okay, no, some time left. Okay, I think almost time is up, so I will stop here. But I will continue with application of the same in the evening session. I expect all of you to join. From now onwards, I think this becomes more like a even evening classes also, partly teaching session kind of it. Okay, so I expect all of you to come and join in the work session as well. Okay, so the rest of you are free to leave, and if, so anybody has still not clear, you can still ask.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, I have a doubt in that slide on which we have the big Earth diagram, sir.
Big Earth diagram, no? Okay. See, Earth becomes, see, if you really want to understand, becomes okay. I'll come to that part now. Earth diagram, I'll just, if you want to understand, just let's try and visualize in slightly different way. So Earth is something like this. If I have to draw Earth shape, then we'll try to visualize. I think I'll come to your question also. See, Earth is, suppose I take this as axis of rotation. Then this becomes my geographic north. It will be a point, geographic north, and there will be point, will be geographic south. It is rotating. And you know, all those things we mark, what are these things called? There's something called this equator will be here, and there'll be longitudes and latitudes. These are all there. Now, so now there is a bar magnet kind of thing. Bar magnet is somewhat like this. If this is the axis of bar magnet, this point becomes what? Magnetic north, and this becomes magnetic south. And it will be a point on the surface of Earth. Is it not? So suppose you stand here. Which direction we have to look at geographic north? Your geographic north will look towards in this direction. Are you following this? If you are at this point on the surface of Earth, and you look, suppose you can actually look at this point. Suppose I put a flag here, I put another flag here to point this. So you, from a distance, you can look at, you can see, okay, assume that you can, it is possible to look at this distance. If you look in this direction, this becomes your, if you draw a vertical plane, this becomes your geographic north, this is your magnetic north. And this is the angle kind of thing. And what happens if I move to this point here? I find here the angle between them is large. If I move to this point, angle becomes different. Are you following so far?
Yes, sir.
What will happen if we stand somewhere between 2 points? And this is something, this point is somewhere in Canada. Okay, there's somewhere. So what will happen if you stand here? In a line joining, so there's a line joining, and I can call this, there'll be a particular longitude which will pass through this point here. Do you understand longitude well?
Yes, sir.
So there's a longitude which will pass through, see, all longitude will pass through geographic north. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Or-
Sir, I have a doubt.
Huh.
Sir, so if we take all the
Yeah, I'll
points
come to
about
first.
latitude,
Let me also first answer my doubt. So, are we clear? This magnetic north point, there will be particular longitude passing through this point.
yes, sir.
Well, so if you stand on the longitude which is passing to magnetic north, what will be the angle of declination at a point which is in between the two? What will the angle of declination at this point here? If I
It
stand
will be
at
the
a
same,
point,
sir.
actually it will not be same. Think of and tell me. If I stand here, it will be in one direction. If I face geographic north, magnetic north will be towards my back. So here this angle of declination will become 180 degree. Whereas if I stand here, angle of declination becomes 0. Right? Are you following so far?
Yes, sir.
What will happen if I have this latitude and if I continue? This is something, there'll be diametrically opposite longitude here. This we continue, and what will be the difference between the two? This longitude differ by 180 degree. Suppose at this point, what would be the angle of declination at the point on the same longitude on the opposite side of the Earth circles? What will the angle of declination? Will they not look in the same direction?
Yes, sir. 0.
0. And in India also it is close to 0. You know, India declination is close to 0. Can you think of a reason why it is close to 0? Are you able to understand now why what is happening here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, India, the magnetic north is almost, if I look at India's longitude, it is passing through a longitude which differ by 180 degree compared to longitude of India. If I take any point on the longitude, more or less direction of okay, so is this follow? Any point on the longitude, declination will be 0. Is that understood? And except for this region.
Yes, sir.
Now come to your question. So this is something, unless we visualize its position, if you take a globe, mark 2 points, and then you think of at different points on the globe, how would angle of declination look like? You will have an understanding. Just to repeat,
Yes,
what I'm saying now, is it possible to take a spherical surface like a globe and mark this geographic north and magnetic north? And then think of different points, how would declination look like? You understood why declination is close to 0 in case of India. If you understood, that's a very important point to understand. And it makes your mental clarity much better.
Yes, sir.
Have some of others followed? Alad, are you following this so far?
Yes, sir.
You understood bit of it. Mother, what is the 3 angles? Are you clear? Which are the 3 parameters we use? What is angle of declination? And have you followed in this case how I define angle of declination? Why it will be 180 degree here, and why it will be 0 everywhere else?
Yes, sir. I follow the last point.
So it's just like this. I plant 2 flags. If I add anywhere, if I draw a line through the flag, if I add stand between the flag, and the angle between them will be 180 degree. But anywhere on the same line. But unfortunately, because the curvature of Earth is not a straight surface, surface becomes curved. But it is more or less logic is same. All points on the same longitude and 180 degree change longitude is equivalent to on the same alignment. Everywhere it will be 0. Okay.
Sir?
Yes.
So, sir, at any point on the same latitude, the angle of dip is same, right, sir?
Now comes to other point here. Now, if I take other point here, this also another longitude. This point it will be different. This point will be 0. At different points, only this longitude will be same. Here, what will happen at this point, the angle will differ much. But if I come to this point, angle declination, this declination becomes smaller. Are you following this?
Yes, sir.
So if you look at, again, I'm repeating, how would you understand? First of all, not necessary to go in so much of detail, but if you want to understand how we should visualize, take a globe if you have, mark 2 points, and then think of it. But from this point, if I draw 2 vertical planes, so you have to plan the 2 vertical planes I draw, what will the one vertical plane has to pass through center. If I draw vertical plane passing through center and this point, that will become my magnetic meridian. If I draw another particular plane passing through the point and center, and you have to visualize, but you can see if it's difficult to draw in 2 dimensions, but if you take a ball, you can mark a vertical plane. What is the distinctive property of vertical plane? It has to pass through center. But in addition to passing through center, it has to pass through the point. It has to pass through geographic north. That becomes your geographic meridian. What becomes geographic meridian? Which 3 points it has to pass through?
The center.
This point, wherever you have calculating geographic meridian and geographic north. So if I draw 2 vertical planes, angle between them becomes angle of declination.
Sir?
Yeah, dip part. Now coming to dip part, is this understood, dip part?
Yes, sir. Understood, sir. Sir?
Yes.
Sir, I also like, is there any reason why the magnetic North Pole and South Pole are named in the opposite sense?
No. See, you look at this here. See what happens outside here, because we are looking outside, how the field is outside. Anywhere outside here, the direction of field is opposite to direction of bar magnet or dipole.
Yes, sir.
So we are concerned about it. We are saying north is north seeking. Okay, there's a convention we have used it, but the direction of field here is opposite to direction of magnetic dipole. So
Yes,
if
sir.
this is the direction north is here, the field will direct it twice like this. What we call as north, by convention we define a north as, if you mark direction of field, if you direct field lines, the direction of arrow indicates direction of north. So what is the north here? On the surface of Earth anyway, this becomes north.
Yes,
Actually, right word is north seeking kind of thing. It's a convention. I think this is something, this is nothing we have to break our head about. But understanding this is okay. I think this is something, if it comes, yes, you can ask some question which is slightly tricky. But if we understand direction in 3-dimensional plane, then it is easy. Okay, let's stop here. So anybody has any other? What happened, Aviru?
Sir?
Nala? You're supposed to have a change of section today?
Yes, sir. We actually jumped both the classes because we didn't like his teaching. So.
No, you can't. Okay. You see, anything, it takes few days to get adjusted.
But your way of explaining things is different. And at least for physics, like you explain it in a different way, so we understand it easily.
I understand. See, what happens is different people have slightly different styles, and it's not that one style is better. You get used to, but okay, it takes few days to get used to slightly different style. Anyway, so which topic you have covered there?
So we started bar magnet, sir, but
because I'll do bar magnet tomorrow. Actually, what happened? I prepared this material. It takes some time for me to prepare. So every time the week's material I prepare it during the weekend. But so I was prepared for some other topic. We're supposed to start wave EM waves today. So I prepared for EM waves, but today morning he said we'll follow the same schedule as for the special batch. So there was a change and all. So anyway, so we took up this topic. So tomorrow I'll take a bar magnet. But one of thing I repeat, all of you understand that point. Quite likely bar magnet and all, this topic may get dropped from the final mains examination. Okay. So we need to focus, but reason I'm going little faster because it may not be there in the final syllabus. This is not to imply you should not pay attention. It may, but it may not come also. So we'll go a little faster on these topics. And little less deep. Okay, then let's stop here. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
And again, we meet up in the evening then, because we'll continue.